Good morning. We are here at the American Cleaning Institute's annual meeting, and here with me is Martin Wolf from Seventh Generation. Thank you for giving us the time to interview you.
Good morning, Doris. It's a pleasure to be here.
How is Seventh Generation different from other consumer cleaning products manufacturers, such as Procter & Gamble, Clorox, and Unilever?
Seventh generation has a guiding statement. In our every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the next 7 generations. And so we focus on the sustainability of what we do, not just the products we make, but how we act as a corporate citizen. And this is ingrained in the company. It's not something we just add on when we think it's appropriate to do. And for example, in designing a product, most companies consider the cost, because that's a very important market character. They also consider the performance, and a high-priced, high-performing premium product is one typical solution to that equation. Another is a lower-performing, lower-cost product or a value product, and they allow the consumer to make a choice between those two extremes, and all these products meet any required regulations. We think that beyond the price-performance equation, you also have to consider human safety, not just from the standpoint of meeting the requirements, but of driving the risk to the consumer as low as possible, making the products as non-hazardous as possible. And similarly, you have to consider the environmental impact. All companies want to be good corporate citizens and make sure that they don't pollute the environment unnecessarily. However, Seventh Generation tries to go beyond just the regulatory requirements and look at our supply chain and make it as sustainable as possible, using renewable resources as a key part of our product design. So that's one way we're different.
Okay. And now, can you enumerate some of the chemicals that you don't use in your products, which you typically see being used in traditional cleaning and detergent products?
Well, there are 3 types of ingredients that we tend not to use. The first are volatile organic chemicals, because VOCs, by definition, get into the atmosphere where they can be photochemical reactive. There have been studies that show VOCs in the household mixed with sunlight and ozone can create more harmful byproducts. But also VOCs from cleaning products are among the top 5 pollutants in our atmosphere. Most people, of course, know that automobiles are the #1 contributors of VOCs. In the Los Angeles area, it was determined that cleaning products were the #2 source of VOCs in the environment. In Maryland, #3, in Denver, #5, and so they are a significant source of air pollution. And in addition, you actually breathe much more air in a day than you eat food. You eat 2, perhaps 3 pounds of food in a day, but you breathe 20 or 30 or even 40 pounds of air in a day. And we think that air should be as pure as possible. People spend extra money to make sure they don't have pesticide residues in their food by buying organic foods, but what do you do to keep your air free and clear? Mm-hmm. And we try to produce products that help you keep the air in your home free and clear.
All right. And are there any other that you consider, or not use really in your products? I mean, I know that chlorine or phosphate is also those products that is not being used in 7th generation cleaning products.
Correct. We don't use phosphates because of the association between phosphates and eutrophication of lakes and streams. We don't use chlorine because of its reactivity in the production of chlorinated hydrocarbons. We also don't use dyes, and we don't use optical brighteners because we don't think those are necessary ingredients. They tend not to be biodegradable. They tend to be derived from synthetic sources, and they can be toxic in the environment to aquatic life and such.
Okay. And are there any other chemicals or materials that the company is thinking of eliminating or phasing out in the future?
Well, we always try to make our products as sustainable as possible, which means to the extent we can, we use renewable resources or plant-derived ingredients. And we have some ingredients that are hybrids, part plant-based and part petrochemical. And over time, we are reducing the amount of petrochemical modification. So we're using as highly a renewable source of carbon as possible. And the philosophy of our products, again, is to make them as sustainable and renewable as possible. And in our ingredient selection, we always keep that in mind.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.